All right, so today we're going to talk about fascial density because people are really confused when they come in sometimes for their first myofascial session. They come out of the session and I say, okay, how are you feeling? And they'll say, I feel, and then they get this confused look on their face. It kind of looks like this. Light? I'm like, yeah, you are lighter. And they're like, well, I don't understand. I'm light. So let's explain that. So you actually technically are lighter. It's on a cellular level. It's on an atomic and molecular level. So I talk about an aluminum foil. All right. So if I take this sheet of aluminum foil here, and if I throw it at you, you're not really going to feel it. Okay. So let's just say that's a sheet of fascia. It's not very dense. It's pretty light. Okay. But if I take this sheet of aluminum foil and I wad it up like this, and I throw it at you, now you're going to feel it. Now the reason that you're going to feel it is because it's now dense. So this is the same sheet of aluminum foil, the exact same sheet, but you didn't feel it when it was a sheet, when it was spread out and when it was distributed evenly. So whenever your fascia is distributed evenly, it's functioning better, it's gliding better. But when it has a density in it, where it's become, a lot of people like to use the term restricted, it's become more dense and it doesn't glide. That might be, a lot of people say, oh, I feel a knot in your muscle. Okay, that's a fascial density. You're going to feel this because it's more dense. So after you have a myofascial session, you actually are less dense because the myofascial or the fascial practitioner has literally gone in and they have taken that fascial density, they have applied that light pressure, and little by little they have gone into each little area of that density, and they've allowed that density to start reversing itself. I talk about this in other myofascial videos on my channel, that we don't go in and tell fascia what to do. We apply light pressure to fascia, very light pressure, so that it can go in. It has its own intelligence, so that the fascia itself can naturally by nature go in and start reorientating itself into a better, more functional position. And that's what the practitioner does. They apply pressure here, then they might apply pressure here, and then they might apply pressure over here. And as they apply that pressure, the fascia then starts to slowly and gradually return itself to a more optimal, aligned position, a position that's less dense. Because see, now I could hit you with this and you wouldn't feel it as much as when it was a ball. So it's less dense now. But we can keep going, right? So this brings up another question. A lot of people come, well, when am I done? When am I done with this myofascial release? When am I done with this fascial work? Well, you have to remember that fascial work is an inner journey. You're done when you feel you're finished. And then now my mother always reminds me, you're never done, you're finished, right? She was really big into grammar. People aren't done, they're finished. Cakes are done, people are finished. So it depends. How far do you want to go on your journey? How far do you want to go on your fascial journey? How far do you want to go into that tissue? How much do you want to work? Maybe you want to pause for a while. Maybe you want to pause here. Maybe you don't want to unravel all that fascia at one time. That's perfectly okay. You don't have to unravel all the fascia at one time. You can just go in and do a little bit at a time and then spend a little bit of time there. Sit with it. Sit with it for a while. I think that John Barnes, myofascial release practitioner, says that quite often. Just sit with it. Sit with it for a while. A lot of times in this society, we tend to rush beyond things We tend to move beyond things rather quickly. The work ethic is very famous for pushing us beyond things very quickly. You get done with point A, you move to point B, instead of sitting and saying, wow, point A's got a pretty nice advantage point to it. I think I'm going to sit here for a while. I think I'm going to see what point A is going to bring to me and what do I bring to point A for a while before I move to point B. So fascial work is an inner journey. And fascial work, if you want, fascial work is never done. Or fascial work can be done after one visit. Depends on how far you want to go into the fascia, how far you want to work with this restriction, how far you want to work with this density. Do you want to go into that density and unravel a little bit more? Or are you okay where it's at today? And maybe you're going to take that forward for a while. Maybe you're going to take that density and sit with it for a while and see what that fascial density has to teach you today. Maybe it has something to teach you. Maybe you have something to teach it. Because fascia is an inner journey, always. So remember that when you feel lighter after fascia, you really are physically lighter because you're taking a fascial density just like a rolled up piece of foil and you are unraveling it and you're returning it to a less dense resting state. A less dense resting state.